commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon.
This is Houston saying If you could remain standing, I would like to call Marion Lindy, Student Council President, to the stand to do our Pledge of Allegiance. Luckily, I can do that with class.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Marion. You may be seated, and I'm going to actually give some instructions because unlike the other 8 classes that I've presided over, you guys didn't get to rehearse. So, you are going to be directed by the class marshals. The female class marshals will tell you when to stand. The male class marshals will actually help direct you to the stage where students will be entering one side and parents will be entering the other side. You will then pose for your photo op right here. It says, please stand here, so you'll be all set. I'd like you to know tonight that our photographers are all volunteer photographers, and they will be posting the photos so that you can actually get these senior photos for free. That's never happened before either, so let's give a quick round of applause for our photographers. Additionally, in light of a few cases increasing, a few positive cases in the Tri-Town area, I am going to ask that families remain masked at all times during the ceremony as opposed to in your little bubble. Our goal is to have the safest, socially distanced graduation in the state of Massachusetts, and I know you can all help me achieve that. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Michael G. He is the chairperson of our King Philip Regional School Committee and has been an incredible supporter of KP High School for quite a while, the entire time that I've been here. And he's also a proud parent of a graduate. He's actually going to provide the welcome and some words of wisdom tonight. So, Mr. G, come on up.
What a wonderful evening, and it's wonderful to see all of you. Dear graduates, family members and loved ones, faculty, administrators, distinguished guests, on behalf of the King Philip Regional School Committee, I happily and gratefully welcome you to the 63rd commencement exercises of the King Philip Regional High School. I also welcome all of you who are watching the live stream, all of us eager to congratulate our graduates and celebrate their achievement, whether here or virtually. Like all of you, this is not the way I expected this commencement to be or how I expected to deliver these remarks. As a parent whose youngest child is in this class, I have been looking forward to this graduation for a long time, for years really. For our family, the year 2020 was filled with so many milestones and plans that we put a color-coded calendar on the fridge to keep them straight. At this point, most of those plans have gone by the wayside, but I'm thankful we can still mark a graduation and welcome all the class of 2020 to the ranks of KP alumni, you know, right according to plan. Up front, I do want to acknowledge why we are here this way and not how we imagined it would be. I'd like to take a moment to express our collective sorrow for the lives lost or severely disrupted by the illness. I also want to acknowledge the many of you, students as well as family members, who have been essential workers in the cause. You've treated the sick, tended the elderly, handled emergencies, and you have also rung up our groceries, pumped our gas, bagged the curbside carryout, and done many of the other things to keep us moving forward. Second, as a parent, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the KP Parent Network, the Sports Boosters, and other parents and school and community organizations who have gone above and beyond to try and make this rite of passage special for our graduates, to create as much pomp as possible given the circumstances. The middle of the night yard sign delivery, the parade, and the showering of special attention on our seniors, you, the organizers out there, and you know who you are, deserve an extra dose of gratitude. As my daughter said to me, yeah. As my daughter said to me in the midst of that extra attention, whoever did all a favor. What happened? Oh,
You're back.
I'm back. Okay. I really want to acknowledge Dr. Lisa Mobley and her high school staff, along with the King Philip administration, for carrying this class to the finish line with no idea where that finish line would be. The job of running a high school is thankless in the best of times, but I have to say I appreciate the spirit of grace and patience and affirmation of our students that has guided decision-making and communication, even when it wasn't necessarily what we were hoping to hear. And I have to extend a shout out to the 3 towns for the support of our graduates in KP, in particular the town's boards of health for their collaboration and guidance in making this happen. Who'd have thunk I'd be saying that? Along with our administration, grounds, and custodial staff. It takes a whole community. But this occasion is about you, the 2020 graduates of the King Philip Regional High School. The last few months since March have been surreal in many ways. There were the missed games, meets, matches, plays, concert shows, the activities, awards, and accolades. But I'm also thinking of the many ironies, some of them poignant. A generation that seems to take in much of life virtually is now yearning for human contact. Just when senioritis would have been setting in, the distance learning began, and at some point you may have been secretly wanting to be back in school. For the last 6 years, you've thought nothing of driving or having us drive the length and width of the Tri-Town for social life. You got to know your neighborhood streets again. And just when you're friends and naturally pulling away from family, you were stuck at home with us 24/7. For us, your families, there have been silver linings to this situation. You might have acquired some helpful new life skills like baking bread and also learning how to clean up the kitchen after baking bread. But I also say that we have cherished this unexpected time together. Corona time has been bonus time. And at a time of your life when so much of our mental energy is dedicated to worrying about your safety, we could actually see that you were safe and sound, at least for a little longer, as we could have imagined. But class of, this is now your story, unexpected, definitely not ordinary, but all yours to shape and to have and to tell. In time, the days just behind us will become a blip, and what feels lacking or incomplete may one day, looking back, seem fitting or serendipitous or even life-changing in some way. I think an essential part of the King Philip experience is the new community that every class starts building when they enter the 7th grade, when a far-flung group is brought into a communal space. Despite your sense of community, okay, and the relationships you have made will be with knowledge, skills, and drive. They give you the tools to adapt and improvise and create a successful path. For us, your family, our story about you begins with the fact that you came to the world just before that day. You arrived as a sign and symbol of grace in an uncertain world, and you still are. As you hold your diploma, think of your experienced and your well-deserved degree in the same way. Carry forward that spirit, as we will need all the great years ahead. 2020 is shaping up to be another watershed year in history. It will certainly be a pivotal one. Where we head from here is partly up to you. I encourage you more than anything else to engage as citizens and, on a very practical level, to exercise your right to vote. I began by saying how I'd looked forward to this day. Although we never know what lies ahead, looking forward is what we do. I urge you to keep looking forward with the knowledge that you are the authors of your achievement, the rights and the rewrites. As one of my college professors used to say at the end of every class, press on and be relentless. To that I would add, face forward, but please turn around and give us a wave from time to time. It's been nice having you around.
Thank you, Mr. G. Here you have to really embrace this microphone. The class of 2020 has been led by 4 inspirational leaders, whom at this time I would like to recognize. So please stand as I call your name. Maura Johnson, President. Ethan McGuire, Vice President. Emma Creegee, Secretary. Sam Callanan, Treasurer. Our class advisors, Mrs. Bertram and Ms. Frey. It was incredibly fun Zooming with this group. I had you at heart at all times, and so let's give them another round of applause. Let us now take a moment to recognize those students who have either enlisted in the military or will be commissioning into military service after participating in an ROTC program. Please stand when I call your name if you are with us tonight, as some of those have already enlisted and are on their way. Rebecca Ireland, United States Marine Corps. Luke Keene, United States Army. Liliana Rolfe, ROTC, Army, Norwich University. Addison Scott, United States Navy. Do you want me to switch it out? Sure. Break. All right, we got it. That thing's a little crazy. Okay. Garrett Tully, United States Air Force. Sarah Vigivani, ROTC, Air Force, University of North Dakota. And Colin Whipple, United States Navy. So now it's my turn. Good evening, and welcome to the commencement exercises for the class of 2020. We did it. We are finally here to celebrate your accomplishments and to turn the page to a new chapter in your lives. Welcome families, staff, Superintendent Zinni, Assistant Superintendent Gilson, members of the KP School Committee, Senator Roush, and Representative Dooley. And most of all, welcome to the class of 2020 and your families. Class of 2020, as you sit here tonight, be assured that no other class in our futures will end their senior year as you all have. While there may have been traditional things that you have missed out on, you have carved the way with new traditions. Obviously, the senior parade was a once-in-a-lifetime event, as there will be no other parade for seniors where the streets are fully lined with almost every resident in 3 towns. You deserved all that pomp and circumstance. There'll be no other senior parade with a live band playing to make sure that you finish strong. But we were there, playing for you and cheering for you and knowing we would get here. I must say, my favorite new addition to the senior year was the opportunity I had to advise you all, each and every one of you, through your senior projects. We may not have talked much through them, but I read every single senior project, and they were amazing. You had the opportunity to learn something that you chose. You have changed teaching and learning forever. No one else has been able to do that. Not the experts, not the MCAS tests. No one else has been able to change teaching and learning, but you, the class of 2020. Getting to know you through that lens of personal choice was not only fascinating, but it certainly brought a sense of pride to my heart. I learned you have what it takes to change the world. You have what it takes to make a difference, to change lives, to change systems, and to do it differently. Each year, we typically name a Teacher of the Year at this ceremony, but this year has been anything but typical. Thus, I want to take a moment to recognize the amazing KP teaching staff and administrators, and to truly thank them for their resilience and innovation during this pandemic. As I said, class of 2020, we are here together one last time, as it should be. This event definitely would not have happened without the support of our King Philip Student Council, led by Mrs. Barbara Sneed. Thank you, Mrs. Sneed. Our King Philip Parents Network and the KP Sports Boosters. Thank you. These organizations were largely responsible for making your transition from graduates to alumni more memorable. There is one individual who honestly was the mastermind behind designing the senior car parade and this in-person socially distanced graduation. And that person is Mrs. Cheryl Rowe. Mrs. Rowe, would you please come to the stage? For what? No, I didn't forget it. She thinks I forgot something, so she's secretly reminding me like she always does. We got this. So, Mrs. Rowe, thank you for making this event happen. Your love for the students is clear in each and every day. So now it's time to really get this show on the road and listen to some of these KP graduates that are just amazing. Our first speaker tonight is the class of 2020 president, Maura Johnson.
Sorry, I'm very short. Okay. Hello to my fellow graduates and families. Long time no see. It's really weird seeing everyone after such a long break. I'll begin by saying what an honor and wonderfully chaotic experience it has been leading the class of 2020 for the past 4 years. That being said, it almost seems fitting that our high school careers end in such an unconventional way. I've been looking forward to speaking at graduation ever since I was first elected president back in freshman year, but I'll admit that I found it really difficult to sit down and focus in order to write this speech. In such an unprecedented time, I, like so many of you, felt emotionally drained and at some points wondered why there was any point in even having an actual graduation. Because, let's face it, these past few months have not been easy. I feel like I haven't been back at KP in a decade, but it's only been 5 months. Then I think it really hit me. That is why our graduation is important. This year has been hard. The past few months have been confusing, stressful, and uncertain. But you know what? So's being a teenager, and so is high school. None of this has been easy. Having graduation is important because of us. What I know is that I have spent my high school career with some of the best people I will ever meet. Some of us have known each other since we were little kids, or maybe we met in middle school when the Tri-Town merged, or maybe you found your best friend in sophomore gym class while trying to avoid playing tennis. Together, whether we meant to or not, we have created our high school memories with each other, and with each other we can close out the past however many years in our own magnificently unconventional way with pride. Anyone who knows me, or has ever been my English teacher, knows that I love a good story, and especially those that are lovingly referred to as coming-of-age stories. This term, of course, refers to the main character finding themselves and going through an emotional transformation into adulthood. I know that my own experience hasn't exactly been some sort of High School Musical fantasy, but thinking back to freshman year, it's amazing how much I've changed in every sense of the word. And I think we can all agree it was a pretty positive change. I mean, I used to wear suspenders as a fashion statement, which was a choice. But seriously, it is because of the people here at KP, students and staff alike, that I have been able to grow into the person that I am and continue to evolve as an adult. So I want to sincerely thank those who have made that possible. On a much larger scale, I want to speak for every graduate here today. I was shaped by my KP experiences in drama club and student government, but for many of us, it was DECA or track or band or who knows what that shaped us. While everyone's KP experience was vastly different, it is more important than ever that we appreciate those differences and recognize the little things that bring us together. On a personal note, I want to thank the people that helped me get to this point, and this might sound like an Oscar speech, so please don't cue the music just yet to cut me off. To my teachers, especially Ms. Haynes, Mr. O'Connor, Ascoli, and LeBlanc, you all met me when I was a little underclassman with a lot of opinions, and you pushed me to speak my mind and not be scared of my own voice. To Ms. Frey and Ms. Bertram, thank you for trusting me and advising our class when we really needed you to step in, and of course for making every event very fun. To the drama and music departments, I clearly would not be able to speak at graduation without the confidence I've gained from performing after so many years. My family, you know how much I appreciate your constant support, especially putting up with my flair for the dramatic. And of course, my friends, who no doubt would be offended if I didn't mention them by name, Allie, Marion, Emily, and Jill, you know I probably could not function without you. And especially Cam, my ride or die since kindergarten. Unfortunately, our time wreaking havoc in class is over, for now. Seniors, our time together might be over, and I know that all of us are excited to move on and get out of here, but know that even though we didn't get a normal high school ending, we did it. We survived, and I don't think we're ever gonna forget this. A few months ago, I opened up that letter that we wrote freshman year to our senior selves, and I think I was expecting something really profound or nostalgic about my goals and accomplishments or something. And what I actually said was, wow, you're like graduating or something. That's insane, man. And you know what? It really, really is. Thank you.
At this time, I have the honor of introducing your class salutatorian, Thomas Civitoni, to give you some words of wisdom. Thomas, come on up.
Thank you, Dr. Mobley. Salutations, my fellow classmates. Thank you all for being here tonight. The faculty, the graduates, the two family members hanging around each of the graduates, as well as everyone watching from home. It really is a pleasure to see you all here today. Feels like it's been months. I guess we've all just been really busy recently. I haven't even had time for a haircut. My mom said she wanted to cut my hair, but I told her I really had to write a speech, to which she responded, "Your graduation speech? Graduation's tonight." So I really hope you all enjoyed your free time decorating your caps and such today. Meanwhile, I was out here spending my day writing this mediocre speech. This is the second speech these people have had me write. I wasn't writing this weeks in advance just for it to be canceled again. Writing speeches is tough. A great man once said, "Sometimes it's tough being the best." And another great man likely once said, "It's even harder being the second best." So as the KP 2020 graduate who is second best at receiving letters closer to the beginning of the alphabet on their report cards, my life must be really hard. But all jokes aside, this was really hard for all of us. And I know so many of you all worked so hard throughout the years. I'm so proud of all of you, it brings a tear to my eye. I remember back when we were all just little freshman infants. They really do grow up so fast. I understand that this ceremony is not the ideal situation for all of us, but honestly, graduation ceremonies can be kind of boring anyway. I really just want to ask, why is it we even still have these massive ceremonies? What is it that makes them so necessary? What is it that makes a great graduation? Is it the sense of achievement? Well, I succeeded in becoming the salutatorian, and I'm still a hot mess, so it can't be that. Is it the togetherness? Well, we're all at least 6 feet apart from each other, so I sure hope not. Could it be the fantastic and entertaining speeches you hear that make a great graduation? Well, they let me up here, so that's gonna have to be another no. What then? What is it that makes a great graduation? Stories. There's nothing more powerful than a good story. Nothing can stop it, no enemy can defeat it. And who has a better story than the class of 2020? If you understand the Game of Thrones reference, thank you. If I have hundreds of people's undivided attention, then you better bet that you are all listening to references to my favorite fantasy universes. Anyhow, I do truly mean it when I say stories are important and that we will have some of the best stories to tell from here on out. Some of them, yeah, we'll take those to the grave, but many of them we will share for decades to come. Through these stories we share with future friends, coworkers, maybe even husbands and wives, or even children and grandchildren, our high school experiences will live on. I will remain connected to all of you through these stories, through the memories throughout high school, and as well as our graduation here today. We must treasure these stories, the good and the bad. Some will tell you to burn away the past. I say we treasure our past and we remember it through the stories we tell. But this is not the end. You have your whole life ahead of you and 1,000 more experiences to have and stories to tell. We all have a path set before us, but it's not a certain path by any means. To quote the great Michael Scott from The Office, I know exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I have no idea what to do. We have a path before us, so we have an idea of what we're doing, but in reality, it's gonna be a wild ride, and you will have so many unpredictable, unique experiences you couldn't even imagine that you will share someday in the form of stories. Here's where the road splits. I'm just glad I got to spend the past 4 years of that road with everyone before me today. You all better have some more wild stories to tell at our reunion, but now it is time for our last hurrah. Thank you all.
He wasn't kidding. We did ask them to write 2 speeches and already filmed one. Thank you very much, Thomas. At this time, I'd like to welcome Ainsley Bonin, the valedictorian of the class of 2020, to now share her wisdom with you. Ainsley.
Hello, everyone. If you do not know me, my name is Ainsley Bonin, and I am extremely humbled to be this class's valedictorian. Before I go any further, congratulations, class of 2020. I know that this is not exactly the graduation you were expecting. However, throughout the rest of this evening, I ask you to keep in mind that the nature of a ceremony in no way defines the magnitude of your achievement. Not only did we successfully complete high school, but we also spent the last 2 months of our senior year navigating the complex and Zoom-filled world of remote learning in a time of massive stress and uncertainty. And yet, even with these challenges, you all still pushed through, did the work, and graduated. Although I think we all wish we could have spent those last few months in the classroom with our friends, that skill of finding the motivation within ourselves will be indispensable throughout our future. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like it has been years since I have walked through that building. And since our final year ended so unusually, I thought I would remind you of some constants we had throughout our 4 years. For example, our football team went to Gillette Stadium for the state championships 3 out of the 4 years we were at KP. From freshman year English to 12 AB, yes. 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 From freshman year English to 12 AB,
From freshman year English to 12 AP, we witnessed the ever strong bond between Miss Logan and Mrs. Haynes, a friendship we know will continue long after we are gone. The most important constant, however, was the unwavering support from the King Philip community. Whether it was covert midnight operations by the Sports Booster Club or 2-hour-long Google Meets with teachers that definitely started academic but really just turned into long chats about life, this community stuck with us throughout the utter chaos that was the end of our senior year. If we were under normal circumstances, we would have been at Stonehill College at the beginning of June, wanting nothing more than to walk across that stage, grab our diplomas, and never look back. And yet, we sit here tonight, 4 months since we've left KP, wanting nothing else but to just go back and say goodbye to our favorite teachers and underclassmen. Our unique situation has allowed us to gain the perspective of classes who graduated 5 or even 10 years ago. We've already had time to reflect holistically on our high school experience, acknowledging the good times as well as the bad, and to truly appreciate those 3.75 years we spent in the KP building. We're also starting to appreciate just how many hours there are in a day, making us realize just how much we depended on our extracurriculars and athletics. This downtime, however, will mean we are better prepared to enter the adult world because in 4 years, we won't have to go to school anymore. Already, we can begin to find what we love to do, what makes us happy. And in that way, we use this time to learn about ourselves and prepare for the future. And our future is suddenly not so far away from us, with a lot of us preparing to go to college in just a few weeks. Now, whether you're about to tackle some more online learning, prepare for social distance dorm life, take a gap year, or even try to enter the workforce, remember these words from John Steinbeck. Now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. I think a lot of us tried to be perfect throughout high school, juggling extracurriculars, academics, sports, work, and a social life. With everything going on in the world right now, your college experience is definitely not going to be perfect, and you are not going to be perfect. Just try to be good and do good, and I promise you will make the most out of this next chapter. On behalf of all the graduates here tonight, thank you to the administration, teachers, parent network, and to everyone who has supported us throughout our 4 years here. Congrats, class of 2020. I'm proud of you all, I've missed you all, and I cannot wait to see what your future holds, for there are brighter days ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so the next part of our graduation, again, is a little unconventional. And I'm going to remind you of what to do when we call the names. But prior to doing that, we do have one last special award. An award that is really special to the King Philip community as a whole. And that's called the King Philip Cup. So now it's time for the presentation of the King Philip Cup. The King Philip Cup is awarded to a senior in recognition of scholarship, leadership, and demonstration of school spirit. Sometimes it's difficult to get students, even though they've been together since 7th grade, to really embrace that they are one. They are KP. This student did. The student spirit was amazing, through thick, through thin, and through COVID. The recipient is nominated by student government, and the winner is selected by the high school administration. This year's recipient is recognized in the top 10 of her class, as well as being recognized by the leadership and spirit she has demonstrated within the King Philip High School's music program. Our recipient of the King Philip Cup from the class of 2020 is Marion Lindy. So again, now it's time for the presentation of the diplomas. Your class marshals will show you the way. They'll tell you when to stand, and they'll direct you which way to walk. Tonight, the parents of every single graduate will be handing the diplomas to their graduate, another first in King Philip history. So without further ado, let us begin. The other reminder is these balloons are hash marked out at 6 feet, and we ask that you stay the 6 feet of social distance. We're ready to begin, Mrs. Rowe and our class marshals. And we're not going to make you hold your applause for each graduate. I'll go slow enough for you to applause for each and every one of them because they certainly deserve it tonight. So students are going to step up and they're going to go to my right, and the parents will step up and go to my left. Whoops. Okay, we're ready. Maura Elizabeth Johnson. Ethan Patrick McGuire. Elizabeth Lynn Creegee. Sam Fox Callanan. Marion Jane Lindy. Ainsley Catherine Bonin. Thomas Danielle Civittoni. John Edward Cannon. Matthew Joseph Stetter. Emily Rebecca Holmes. You can take him down. Dana Jean Aubin. Samantha Moyes Robeson. I don't know, Sammy. Catherine Jenia Welch. Courtney Josephine Alley. Eric James Anderson. Nicole Dorothea Andre. You can take them off. Graduates, just a reminder, you can take your masks off to do your photos and come up across the stage. Kerrigan Elise Andrews. Congratulations. Mark Henry Andrews. Lilia Alexis Angeloni. Isabella Elena Angerami. Taylor Lynn Archambault. Zachary James Ball. Mohammed S. Barry, Jr. All right, Mo. John Michael Beatty. Alex Frederick Bailing. Sammy Benretta. Alexander Sotang Bernhard. Alexis Marie Berthum. This is why we have 2 days of name practicing, guys. Joseph Robert Baselli. Daniel Hunter Body. Jeffrey Michael Bovaird. Ryan William Bowers. Kurt James Buckman. Amberly Lucinda Bernhardt. Kaylee Shire Burke. Madison Elizabeth Burr. Nicholas Andrew Bush. Taylor Grace Butler. Erin C. Cahoon. Benjamin D. Campanella. Colleen Joy Campbell. Abigail Catherine Sitterell. Matthew John Clark. Connor Stephen Claypool. Shaylin Elizabeth Clifford. Kyle Alexander Clinch. Charlotte Elizabeth Kallela. Christina Ann Coleman. Jack Sebastian Calentro. Emily Marie Collins. Joseph Daniel Collins. Anna Kate Aspen Grace and Megan Elizabeth Colvin. Oh, no, take your time. This is about you guys. You're welcome. Sean Paul Conniff. Luca Fernando Cordero Slater. Jack Anthony Coulter. Amanda Rose Craig. Thomas Michael Crowley. Christopher Alejandro Horgan Correa. Nicholas Peter Rody Dedasis III. Jay Dalton. Christopher Benjamin Daniels. Jack Griffin Denholm. Kaylee Elaine and Kieran Michelle Denmead. Cameron Rossi Desmond. Kyle Roland DeRochers. Catherine Ann DeJacobo. John Theodore Dionis. Owen Michael Doherty.
Giovanni Adrian Dominguez Rios.
Thomas Eric Donahue. Emily Ann and Lauren Elizabeth Downey. Isis Alexandria Dozier. David Leo Dubois. Shay Nicholas Duffy. Kira Tao Edgerly. Coryllis Abanab Elias. Ashley Ann Fiella. Nathan Troy Farkash. Tyler Cameron Feeney. Jonah Mitchell Fisk. Eric John Franz. 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 Jillian Brett Freely. Whitney Marie Fries. Alexander William Fritz. Jordan Thomas Frommer. Sarah Catherine Galetta. Grace Carolyn Garabedian. Allison Margaret Garvin. Alan James Genowitz. Nicholas Christopher Giancioppo. Angelia Rose Gilchrist. Gabrielle Diels. Gilles. Mom tried to help me with that one a lot. Maximus Jeremy Gorham. Destiny Marie Goico. Shane Zachary Graham. Michaela Elizabeth and Michael Richard Griffin. Paul Christopher Grow. Nolan Thomas Gunning. Ryan Joseph Halliday. Luke Alexander Hamilton. Julia Kirsten Hanscom. Julia Marie Harper. Ryan Elizabeth Hart. Scott Patrick Hine, Jr. Gabriella Marie Hurl. Allison Lilly and Jenna Elizabeth Hitchin. Malik Jason Hong Cabral. Jordan Christopher Hoyle. Nicholas Allen Hurd. Elizabeth Courtney Hurley. Kyle Marcus Hurley. Ali Hamza Ismail. Robert Joseph Durest. Harold Stephen Johnston. Luke David Keene. Grace Phoebe Kelly. Jackson Zachary Henry Kelly. Madison Ann Kelly. Lindsay Elizabeth Kennedy. Adam Joseph King. Jackson Blake Klein. Ryan Patrick Kosh. Taylor Lane. Ava Marie LaPlante. Chloe Alexandra Lane. Emily Grace Lengel. Ella Jasmine Leon. Lily Kathleen Lewis. Haley Grace Longmore. Haley Ann Luce. Brian Lucente. Francesca Hannah Lucic. Alec Richard Lucier. Liliana Mungley McDonald. Victoria Isabel Machado. Griffin Charles McKay. Isabel Lee McMeans. Isabel Elise Macrina. Hannah Page Mahoney. Jesper Orlando Macudera. Wyatt Boudreau Manzi. Ian James Marlin. Abigail Joan Martin. That's our cue for the halfway point. So congratulations to the first half of the class of 2020. Kristen Lee Massey. Miranda Lynn Matheson. Erica Ann Maxon. Virginia Grace May. Sarah Grace McCarty. Carly Christine McDonald. Emily Joanne McDonough. Haley Marie McLaughlin. Hannah Elizabeth McGowan. Andrew Gregory McKinney. Sophia Rose McLaughlin. Molly Erin McManus. Colin Thomas McNulty. Matthew Walter Meehan. Emily Elizabeth Melanson. Adrian Miguel Mercado. Kyle Richard Merchant. Owen Morosky. Elizabeth Grace Merritt. Matthew John Minkwitz. Aiden Riley Malloy. Braden Ann Moore. Daniel Terrence Mullen. Raymond Francis Mullen. Nathan William Narducci. Sarah Page Naten. Hallie Lou Alexis Nelson. Adam Jonathan Nicastro. Alexander Carl Nineveh. John Charles and Michael Thomas Norberg. You're welcome. Allison Gorham Norton. Go ahead, quick. Catherine Elizabeth Norton. Brandon Douglas O'Neill. Kayla O'Reilly. James Robert O'Rourke. Grant W. and Wesley A. Orzel. Cayman Thomas Park. Audrey Catherine Parker. Zachary Scott Parker. Stephen Devendra Ramesh Patel. Cade Wilson Patrick. Nicholas James Perry. Ellie Nicole Piero. Sean Brian Pillar. Serena Maria Pizzi. Kate Elizabeth Politensky. Morgan Louise Poppenberger. David James Priestley. I didn't look up. And Victoria Frances Priestley. I apologize for not looking up. Ryan James Puro. Kristen Elizabeth and Samantha Jean Perdin. Alexander Peter Poutre. Brianna Elizabeth Quirk. Noah William Ray. Sarah Elizabeth Reardon. Ian Foster Rhines. Nor? Renier. I didn't say it? Oh my gosh. You were in my mind. I thought it. So this one I only thought out loud. Sorry, Erin. Erin Elizabeth Renier. This is getting a little warm. Nor Kar Riar. Brooke Marie Richard. Prentice Place and Winthrop Robbins Richardson. Bailey Ellen Ridge. Kevin Andrew Riggs. Rebecca Lynn Rivera. Andrew Joseph Robinson. Faith Kenny Roy. Christopher George Roy, Jr. Ramez Well Sad. Morgan Rose Saklibin. Gabriela Saliba. Madison Grace Salvatore. Laura Kim and Olivia Lynn Sanderson. Christopher Eric Sawyer. Sean Mark Sibilia. Addison James Scott. You're welcome. Skylar Rain Seifert. Nilash Nibaron Sen. Kirtana Senthil Kumar. Mackenzie Grace Shanley. Riker Shaw. Aiden Isaac Shea. Reagan Amelia Simeone. Abigail Grace Simmons. Sherby Tania Sonora. You didn't practice with me. Leah Marie Smith. Molly Elizabeth Smith. Sarah Ross Smith. Avery Elizabeth Sneed. Nicholas Walsh Sorrell. Ryan Alexis Stagg. Allison Jane Stanton. Tristan August Stefani. Grace Ellen Sullivan. Jessica Ann Sullivan. We have to make sure we have the right parents. Kylie Quinn Sullivan. Megan Rose Sweezy. Jack Joseph Tagerman. Aileen Elizabeth Tang. Kevin Matthew Tebow. Owen Edmund Textiera. Matthew Shane Tachi. Ashley Torres. Garrett F. Tully. Sydney Diane Unterweger. Faye Carol Vayu. Melanie Jean Vayu. Christian Carl Verteber. Dylan Matthew Vierkant. Sarah Ashley Viggiani. Catherine Sue Waldeck. Aiden Heinrich Walsh. Brian Michael Wassersug. Amanda Leonora Wyrick. Thomas Joseph Weir. India Mary Wiggins Jones. You're welcome. Aaron Glenn Wilkinson. Caroline Callister Weimer. Sarah Ann Wolf. Brett Roland Woodworth. Gianna Gabrielle Wooters. Ian Cullum Yarborough. James Michael Zimmerman. Bailey Rochelle Zilkowski. AJ Jabber. Cameron Thomas Cotillo. Nikki Marie Lovenberry. Joseph Tyler Carrero. Michael Christopher Radford. Sophie Rose Matta. Haley Elizabeth Janeski. Okay, so we have a few more housekeeping things for you before we do our final finale. The first thing is, please continue to check your KP email because I will be sending out the links for these wonderful photos through your KP email. So please check your KP email for a couple more weeks. Secondly, we do need to dismiss you by your groups in an orderly and socially distanced fashion for the safety of everyone here at the ceremony. So we have one more thing that we need to do, and then I will be calling Mrs. Rowe to the podium to dismiss you by your groups. So instead of the traditional one individual that we call up to do our last little finale, I would like the class officers and the top 10 to please come in the front row of the track. Please socially distance yourself about 6 feet away. And they're all going, what are we doing?
Come straight up from where you were sitting.
Straight up from where you were sitting, I'll get you right about 6 feet away. And on my cue, all together, you're going to say, graduates, turn your tassels. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Graduates, turn your tassels. Congratulations, King Philip, class of 2020. Thank you, graduates. You may take your seat, and I'm leaving the rest up to Mrs. Rowe.
Thank you, guys. I know it's been a very long evening. A lot of planning went into it, but to keep with the social distancing, I do have to dismiss you by groups. So group 1, you may exit. If you could go out the same gate you came in, that would be ideal. And as soon as I see the last of you going, I will announce group 2 can leave. You guys can take the bandanas that were tied to your chairs, the yearbooks, everything else that was left in your chair, those are yours. Since those coming through gate A are taking a little longer, group 2 can go if you were coming through gate B.